Good morning and welcome to the Betting Connection podcast. My name's Chris. I'm here as always with my co-host Rob. Rob, last week my personal hot streak came to an end. It couldn't last forever. Surely couldn't have lasted forever. I did hit the skids a little bit last week, but what does a good partner in crime do when I am out of form? Or not out of form, but my form slightly comes to a halt. My partner in crime finds an underdog of Telstar 3.0 and the Big Gun Acca for the second week in a run to make it another profitable week and keep that bankroll growing. Rob, how you doing?
Woo! Yeah. I think we talked about it before on the pod that once you go on a hot streak and then I go on a hot streak. So luckily, we managed to make a profit, and Telstar played out just as I wanted. And there was maybe like a mix up with the live score all of a sudden. So it said like they were 2-0 up, so the early payout was done. But on the other one, didn't have that early payout. And then all of a sudden it said 3-0. But on the bookies it said 2-1. So I was like, what is happening now? What's happening now? But luckily enough, they made it 3-1, 4-2, I think, in the end. So
Yeah.
great result, great pick. And let's keep the Big Gun Acca streak alive and let's find
Yeah.
some new value.
Back-to-back wins in the Big Gun Acca moves Big Gun Acca back into profitable territory for the season. We are now nearly 3 units in profit for the Big Gun Acca alone. Last week, just to summarise there, we had 8 official picks, value picks during the pod. I think I said 7 at the end of last week, but it was actually 8. I didn't count the double that we put in there. Those 8 picks had average odds of 2.36, and it wasn't that great. We only lost 1 unit, actually, based on those value picks. It felt like a worse weekend than that, actually, but it was only -1 because we had a couple of decent big uns that come in. And then that Big Gun Acca pushed us into the profit, as I said, just under a unit. It was a 0.91 win. But that makes it 4 profitable pods out of the 6 weeks that we've recorded. And we are over 15 units in profit for the season so far.
So far, so good. Let's continue.
Indeed it is. And look, we had some nice picks there as well. You mentioned Telstar. I did have one nice pick, Dortmund away at Mainz, that come in at 2.1. Feyenoord won, and that was another one of yours, wasn't it? Borough's streak came to an end. They drew away at Southampton, which again, probably a good result. But I'm just going to keep backing them, and we'll come on to Borough shortly. But I actually think, funny enough, I think last weekend was a bookies weekend. When I look at the results overall, and I know your Big Gun Acca come in, but that's avoiding the banana skins, but I think based on some of the results last week, a lot of draws across England, lower leagues as well. I looked at it and thought, I think bookies have won this weekend. So for us to be better than evens and still grow that bankroll, I think we did a good job.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, sorry, I was just sipping some water there. I thought you were going to say a bit more than that. Without further ado, let's move on to this weekend. And as always, we start in the Premier League. Premier League, Liverpool, injury time loss. Arsenal, injury time winner. Have tables turned? What are your thoughts this weekend?
For this weekend, I'm staying away from the Liverpool match. They have now 2 defeats in a row, also against Galatasaray. For me, they're playing away against Chelsea. Is it on Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday, the late afternoon kickoff, yeah.
Great game to watch, but that's not for betting wise, at least in my opinion. I didn't even look at the odds. I'm just scared to go to Liverpool for the moment. Let's see how it plays out. Definitely when they have to play a team like Chelsea, who's won the World Cup, of course. And a little bit underwhelming this season so far, Chelsea, but still it's Chelsea. And not gonna try my luck on that match. I do like Arsenal for the Big Gun Acca. So that's a team that's in high spirits at the moment, definitely after that last minute win. So yeah, that's the one for me. But besides that, I don't. Yeah, I like Newcastle. That's the one. That's the one team that's looking like getting in a bit of good form. They played. You probably could tell us more about how they played last Sunday against Arsenal, but in the Champions League they made light work of Saint-Union Gillois. That would boost the confidence. So expect them to win against Nottingham Forest, a team that's underperforming, changed their manager already, is playing in Europa League tonight. So all signs to green for that one. But it's not really a value pick. It's like 1.68, I found it.
Yeah, I've got it here 1.65, so more or less the same. And I will come on to Newcastle in a minute. Just wanted to respond to your comments on the Chelsea-Liverpool match first. And yeah, I agree. If anything, actually, I think I'm leaning actually towards Chelsea more than Liverpool in this match, purely because Liverpool, there's nothing worse than playing away in Europe and then playing away in the league on the following weekend, which is what Liverpool have to do. And it's not away at France or Spain. It's Turkey. It's a bit of a trek. And 2 on the bounce, they've lost. I don't know. And Chelsea are Chelsea. Like, I think this is the game Chelsea are more likely to get results in this season than actually the ones you expect them to win. They're a bit of a nightmare to bet on, and we've talked about that in these pods before. So, yeah, I'm definitely staying away though. I don't think there's value in either, to be quite honest.
No.
So yeah, we'll stay away. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I will definitely be wanting Chelsea to win, which is not often I sit there wanting Chelsea to win a football match, but I certainly will this weekend. So let's see how that plays out. And yeah, you mentioned Newcastle there. I think they are a good bet this weekend. They are as we said, 1.65, 1.68. So it just falls just under the value pick range. But I actually do think it is good value because I think Forest. Big Ange is winless so far. I just don't rate this guy. I just don't. You might like him. You might like to go for a pint down the pub with this guy, but I don't think he's very good at managing football teams. And he talks about these trophies and this and that, but come on, man. I mean, I would win the league with Celtic. And Tottenham, that was the worst run of teams I've ever seen anybody win a European competition. Even the Europa Conference normally sees better teams than what was served up for Tottenham last season. So, no, I'm just not buying it. And I think Forest have made a massive mistake here. Newcastle are home. They played okay against Arsenal. I thought Arsenal were excellent in the first half. And that's probably the most dominant match Arsenal have played away at Newcastle for a very long time. But Newcastle's still decent. I watched the game last night in the Champions League. They played very well. And yeah, at home, I think he's starting to click. The old lanky striker is knocking them in. And yeah, I think they should do the trick. So as it falls just below value, I'm actually going to pair them up with Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa have not had a good start to the season at all. But I just think it's going to turn now. Yeah, this is gut instinct. It just clicked for them last weekend. Finally got a good result, and yeah, I just think maybe now that will be the turning point. They are playing away in Europe tonight against Feyenoord, isn't it? Actually, tonight, which is going to be a really interesting match. I've got a friend of mine that's gone to the game as a Villa fan in the way in. So yeah, he was en route yesterday morning. But I just think, as I said earlier about Liverpool, I think playing away then away is difficult, but they are back at home. Just Burnley, I don't think there's much to this team really. And I just think Villa at home, they've got to start getting the results together. Otherwise Emery's going to be under pressure. It was a good win at home to Fulham, a little bit of a sticky start. And then, yeah, it started clicking for them. And look, they haven't lost in 3. They won that game. They drew the 2 previous, and they were both away from home. Burnley, they've only picked up points against Nottingham Forest and Sunderland so far this season. The rest have all been losses and quite convincing as well. Yeah, I'm just going to go Villa here, pair it up with Newcastle, and the double is, I've got it here at 2.6 for double.
Okay, that's quite a rich double.
I think so.
I'm waiting for the result for tonight. Let's see how Aston Villa plays against Feyenoord away from home. Let's see which team he sends out. And I also saw the opportunity, but I was waiting for the Europa League results to give it a green light on Aston Villa. But good shout for now. If you want to pair it up like me, probably maybe do it Newcastle, Arsenal. Bit safer, but a lot shorter on price.
Yeah, that should get you about even money, I would imagine, that double. Yeah. So that's a good play as well. Although I will put a little bit of warning out there for the Arsenal-West Ham game. West Ham have beaten Arsenal at the Emirates 2 seasons in a row in the league. It's become somewhat of a bogey match for us at home. It's really weird because we're away at West Ham. We've given them absolute spankings over the last few seasons, but we've struggled at home against them. So, it's one that we need to rectify. I think we will. I always find, unless you're doing a Big Gun Acca, those odds 1.2, 1.3s, they always worry me because I just don't think any football match, that's not value on any football match, really.
I actually was waiting for your opinion about that match because maybe you had some insights I didn't thought of. So thanks for telling. Both warning signs on Arsenal.
No, and on top of that as well, Rob. On top of that, Rob. Sorry to interrupt. On top of that, you've got the kind of new manager bounce as well. So you've got Nuno, haven't you? That's gone into West Ham to manage. So he got a good result away at Everton on Monday night. And he's probably had all week to start getting his opinion across.
Okay, I'm staying away from Arsenal. You talked me out of it. Better be
so
safe than sorry in betting. So it's coming off the list.
And look, it's about value as well. And I'm just the more I'm betting recently, Rob. Like apart from the Big Gun Acca, which I love because you've just got an amazing instinct for that, and it's been very successful. And I'm happy to play a whole unit on that every week. But when you're trying to make up doubles to try and get that kind of even money or trebles, like the 1.2s, 1.3s, there's no value in it. And the reason there's no value in it is because there's other factors in play if every football match, red cards, penalties, terrible refereeing decisions, which we seem to get in more matches than we don't these days. So there is literally no value on those anymore, unless you're just going to do those Big Gun Accas and get a several on there. Make sure that you've got a total of about, high 2 point something or 3, So you just, trying to find doubles and trebles of even money of the 1.2s, 1.3s. I've come away from that. I used to do it a lot, and I just feel like, your fingers get burnt. There's no value in it. I'd rather find a bit more value and get a little bit more, bit more profit back.
Okay, some smart words, some wise words.
So anyway, look, there's other games that kind of piqued my interest a little bit this weekend in the Premier League, but nothing strong enough. I mean, Man United are home to Sunderland at 1.5. I mean, what are the bookies smoking there? Like that is no one's going to back that. That's ridiculous. There's no, I don't know what to say about that. I went, yeah.
No, I'm joking.
What was you going to say, Sunderland?
No, would never.
It's on your Big Gun Acca. No, well, I backed them last week, and if you remember, Rob, I actually had no good rationale for it, and I actually said to myself, "What am I doing?" That those sentiments turned out to be exactly spot on. What was I doing? And that was proven. So let's stay away from Man United. That club is rotten to the core. And if anything, Sunderland at 5.75 is a good shout.
It is.
So, but I'm staying away from that. I think Tottenham away at Leeds at 2.5. It caught my interest as well. I think that's good value. Like Tottenham are probably better away team than home at the moment, and that's not bad value. But I went through some of the Leeds results from this year, and I was going through the XG and all the stats and stuff, being a bit of a nerd because I'm kind of fed up without having some real stats this season so far. So I was going back through it, and Leeds actually seem to be outperforming their results at the moment, and so I am going to stay away from that. I think that's a potential banana skin for Tottenham. And then, yeah, like I think Man City as well. I think Man City 1.62 away at Brentford. It's a good price, but it just falls below what we consider our value price. And Brentford are a weird team. I don't rate them this season, but you just never know. They do kind of get up for the bigger matches. So, yeah, again, got to stay away. Brighton away at Wolves as well is another one, 1.91. But I was looking at that as well. Wolves are kind of, they're playing better than their results suggest, actually, when you look at the underlying stats, and Brighton the opposite. So, yeah, like it's just nothing there catching my attention outside of that double we've mentioned. Anything more for you to say, Rob?
No, nothing left for me to say on the Premier League.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the Championship then. Okay. Everyone knows that I've been backing Middlesbrough all season. They are still top of the league. But they didn't win last week. But they are still unbeaten this season, and I'm just going to take them again. I'm going to take them again against Portsmouth away. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Look, they drew in the week this week as well, so they've actually had 2 draws in a row. So if they don't win this one, I will probably stop riding this train just for the sake of it unless there's actually really good rationale for it. But at the moment, I'm not giving you rationale. I'm just riding that Middlesbrough train because it's worked so far. Portsmouth, very mixed start to the season. 9 points after 8, 1-2, drawn 3, lost 3. I think they drew last night to Watford, if I'm not mistaken, as well. They're not setting it alight, and you're still getting better than even money. You're still getting better than even money on Middlesbrough. So yeah, I've just got to keep taking it. Hopefully they'll get a win back under their belt, and I'll probably keep backing them blindly. But let's see how this goes. They're 2.3 away at Portsmouth. Again, why not?
Okay, let's go Middlesbrough.
Let's go Middlesbrough. And then finally, one more in the Championship. I have got Stoke away at Blackburn. Okay, they're actually underdogs for this match, Stoke, which I find weird because Stoke are third in the league, 14 points from their 8 games. They were a team that drew to Middlesbrough away in the week, this week on Tuesday night. And I watched a bit of the match. Stoke were actually good for that draw. If anyone deserved to win that match, it was Stoke, not Middlesbrough, actually. And I was quite surprised, and because they had got off to a good start, and I was like, oh, but no one fancied Stoke, so no one's been talking about them, and I just thought, they'll fade away. But I watched them, and they were good, and they were probably the better team against Middlesbrough, so a good value for that game. And Blackburn, I actually had a little bet in midweek, Swansea away at Blackburn, and Swansea did do the business. They were similar odds to this of Stoke at 2.8, and that one came in. So I'm going to follow the same pattern here, go for a Stoke away win at Blackburn, 2.8. And yeah, I think they've been performing really well, and Blackburn have been absolutely terrible. They've lost, again, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure that Blackburn have lost all of their matches at home this season. Yeah, they have. They have lost all of their matches. They've played 3 at home, lost 3. They have lost their last 2 as well. They, like I say, they lost to Swansea in the week. They lost last weekend 3-0 away at Charlton as well. Yeah. In terrible form, and Stoke are playing decent. So I am going to say Stoke away win, 2.8, very good value.
Good value. You get good value.
So we've started off with 3 meaty picks there, actually, Rob. We've got a 2.6, a 2.3, and a 2.8 to start off this show. Rob, let's go over to your homeland, the Netherlands. We've actually started to pick up some form here. And when I say we, I mean you. Eredivisie, we've had 8 picks for the season so far with 6 wins, 6 out of 8 wins now, mate. Nearly 5 units of profit towards that 15 overall. So, yeah, Eredivisie, here we go. What have you got for us this week?
Eredivisie, I have one pick for you guys. I have Fortuna Sittard to beat FC Volendam. And the price is 1.85. Fortuna Sittard is historically a team that's in the very south of Holland, and it's quite hard to not really travel. Travel in Holland is it's only like 3 hours, I think, maximum from bottom to top. But it's a long drive for most teams, and it's quite a tough place to play in. And they have a mixture of foot soldiers from all around over the world, a little bit older, a little bit more experience, and then also some experienced Dutch players as well. So quite an experienced team, and they're known for having a coach who makes it hard to beat that team. It's tough football, high intensity, a lot of tackles flying in, not letting the opponent play well. So they did all right this season, definitely at home. They beat it NEC at home, who's a high flyer this season. They beat it FC Utrecht at home 2 weeks ago. They lost nearly last week against FC Twente, away from home 3-2. They also had a loss against Feyenoord. That's fine. If you look at Volendam, they did win last Saturday for the first time this season. Besides that, they've done all right, but they're historically a team that's going to be in the relegation battle. And I think the price is right for Fortuna Sittard. They have a famous player. The most famous player is Mohamed Iataran. Maybe you know him. He was a big prodigy of Holland, from PSV, also played for Ajax, but yeah, not really focused on football. Even Juventus signed him, but now he's back at Fortuna Sittard, and it's a typical Fortuna Sittard signing. So yeah, Fortuna Sittard Saturday night at 6:45, quarter to 7.
Okay. And what did you say? Sorry, 1.85, did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
1.85.
1.85. I've got it locked in. Anything else in the Eredivisie? You said you just the one. Have you got any leans?
I do fancy PSV and Feyenoord for the Big Gun Acca.
Yep.
But we're gonna mention that later. But
Both
besides,
decent odds, actually. No, like
they are.
1.4, 1.5 ish. Yeah, that's not often you get those odds.
No, not really. And maybe it's because they are playing in Europe as well.
Hmm.
And PSV is not in the best of form, although they did get a quite good result against Leverkusen, a 1-1 draw away from home. So in our
Mhm.
eyes, that's a good opinion. They're paying Pax Swallow, a team that's been a little bit on and off, but mostly off this season. So I think it's a good price for PSV. And let me double check who's Feyenoord playing. Feyenoord is
Home
playing
to
FC.
FC Utrecht.
Yeah, it's a tough fixture. Although FC Utrecht is not a team that normally plays in Europe that often, but now they're playing in Europe tonight as well, and they're probably gonna cope with the fatigue a little bit more than the Feyenoord players, because most of the Feyenoord players are known for playing twice a week. So Feyenoord at home, always strong. It's a tough fixture, one of the tougher fixtures for a team like Feyenoord
But
at
am I
home.
am I right? Am I right, Rob, in saying that FC Utrecht are not quite as good as they were last year
Tough to
so
tell.
far?
Tough to
Yeah,
tell.
still early, still early. Yeah.
It's still early doors, although last season they were flying in the beginning of the season. I think they were second by Christmas, and after that it shut down a little bit. And this season it's been on and off. It's been all right, but not really convincingly chasing for the fourth spot. I reckon they're gonna be sixth at the end of the season, to be honest.
And there's
Um,
one. There's sorry, go on.
yeah, yeah, you can go on.
No, sorry, I was just going to say there's one game that's standing out to me as has good value, but yeah, I need to hear your opinion. It's Go Ahead Eagles. They haven't started the league amazingly this year. They're playing NEC, who I know have started well, but NEC's joy so far this season seems to have been at home, not away. And generally speaking, we do love Go Ahead Eagles as a home team, don't we? And you've got odds here at 2.4. I mean, am I missing something here? What's your
Yeah,
view on this?
yeah, I would definitely stay away from Go Ahead Eagles. I'm rather go for NEC because Go Ahead Eagle, we faded them last weekend because they were playing in Europe, and now they're playing away to Greece. They're playing against Panathinaikos tonight,
Mm.
and as I said earlier, with the same with Utrecht, it's even more so for Go Ahead Eagles. I heard a stat that there's one player or none player who has experience of playing in Europe. For them, it's a season. I like similar to Brest. You remember when they qualified for Champions League? Then it's a little bit more about Europe and having that experience than about the domestic league. And NEC is actually the opposite around. They made some big transfers. They spent some money. They also collected quite a lot of money for perhaps like Roefs, the keeper. They sold him for like 10 million to an English Premier League team. Not sure which one it is. Sunderland, maybe? Yeah, I thought it was Sunderland, who have a Dutch goalkeeper now. But NEC is really trying to go after it this season. They try to be in that top six. They want to go reach the playoffs and maybe even more. They started off really well compared to different seasons. So yeah, I rather back NEC for a away win than Go Ahead Eagles. Although they're picking up a little bit of form, but as I said, in Europe, fading them, loss against Telstar. I'm not daring to go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, don't apologise. That's exactly why it's great to hear your insight. That's a lot closer to it than I am, and that's the beauty, you know.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's things like that I'm just not even thinking about. I'm
What's the
just looking
price
at
for
it.
NEC?
2.8. It was quite close. The odds 2.6. So 2.4 on Go Ahead, 2.6 on NEC. But
Maybe goals as well. I don't know what's
goals,
the
I don't
goals
know.
market.
I haven't got that in front of me.
Okay,
But
well, I will look it up later.
yeah, we'll look that up. But yeah, okay. So we'll stay away from that for now, I think. So thank you very much. I look at it very basically. Yeah, like just I like Go Ahead Eagles as a home team. I'm looking at it, and NEC have lost two of their three away matches. And yeah, I just see that as good value for Go Ahead Eagles. But yeah, there's a lot of mitigating factors there that you've just mentioned. So good,
Yeah.
good, good. We stay away and save our money. So Eredivisie done. I mean, have you got anything in the kitchen, the second division that you play in?
I do. I do have a team, and we talked about it. It's a team who just got their license back. It's Vitesse, who is playing at home against Young FC Utrecht. The odds are 2.05, so a little bit over evens. Vitesse is doing quite all right. They have a team that's like made up in a couple of weeks of time by players who were not playing for a team, did were like on a freebie. Because as I said earlier on the pod, Vitesse is a long history team, but they gone down the route and also financially. So they didn't get the licensing in the beginning of the season. So they were not playing. It was a big news in Holland. And then after a couple of weeks, they went to the court and they actually got approved to play for another season. So they sold the most season tickets in the last 20 years. I think over 16,000. That's unbelievably amount of people for a keukenkampioen Eredivisie, Eerste Divisie. And they're ranking up some good results as well, definitely with the fans backing them, all in support for them this season. So for 2.04 against a young team, FC Utrecht, who's yeah, they lost three out of their last five matches, drawing one, and their last win came at 12th of September. So it's a long time ago. I'm backing Vitesse to win at home.
Okay, and we did speak about this on the pod about them getting kicked out. I didn't even know that they'd been reinstated. So there you go.
I actually backed them the first match. They were heavily ordered, like they had 9.0 or something, because everyone was thinking, okay, they're playing young AZ. They already been in training for a long time, but the bookies didn't keep in mind like the stadium and with that amount of people and the emotional behind that whole fixture, like being back alive. Like imagine your club, like they were all
Yeah.
devastated, crying. Everyone was devastated that the club has gone up to smoke. But then all of a sudden they stood back up, and yeah, it was. And the odds were unbelievable high for Vitesse. I didn't back them a lot, but yeah. So I'm thinking they're gonna win again.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. And we've had some good stories about Vitesse over the last year. So yeah, let's go Vitesse. Any more for Holland before we move on?
No, that's it.
No. We will go to Spain though, Rob, because I'm loving the sound of your voice today. I started off the pod heavily talking. So, nice to get a breather. And I'm going to continue that breather because we're going to go to Spain, where I don't have anything for this weekend, but I understand that you do.
Yes. It was maybe the result of last weekend, the win of Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid. I know you backed them midweek again in the Champions League, and they also won convincingly. And now they're playing away from home against Celta de Vigo. Celta de Vigo, they lost their last two matches if you include Europe. They're also playing tonight in Europe, so that's also a 2 day more rest for Atletico Madrid. After that 5-1 win, after that 5-2 win, I'm backing Atletico to beat Celta de Vigo for 1.8. 1.8.
Like it. I missed that one.
It
I
is. That
missed
is
that.
quite good
I
price.
missed that one. I think that is a good find. I don't know. I don't know how actually I've missed that because it comes in value range. Let me just have a quick little look to see if I can play devil's advocate here, as I sometimes do, and say why would this not be a good bet? I can't find it. Celta Vigo haven't won a match this season. That's the first part. They literally have not won a match this season. To be fair, they haven't lost that many neither. It's been a lot of draws. Wow, they've drawn a lot. I remember this because I've backed some of those that they managed to get draws. And I remember also very vividly that Celta Vigo, some of these draws they got at home, Girona, Villarreal, Real Betis, I'm pretty sure that all three of them were really late equalisers as well. So you could argue that they've lucked out on some of these draws. Atletico Madrid, look, they haven't won away from home this season. They don't give me good vibes sometimes, but sometimes you have to recognise when someone's turning their form. And what better way than just the last couple of matches. They beat Rayo Vallecano 3-2, spanked Real Madrid, and then did the business in the Champions League. So maybe this is the turning of the worm, and we're going to get the value before the bookies start slashing their prices.
Yeah, let's see.
So look, I like it. I've just talked myself massively into that as well, but I'll leave it as your pick because believe it or not, Rob, because I'm keeping a record of everything that we do there. Yeah, so by us individually, league, type of bet, everything, right?
I know where you're
And
going.
I've said that we hadn't done many this season where we both put the pick as a lock. Yeah, both of us. We have done 3 now, and all 3 lost.
I
So
know, I saw that. I saw that.
let's stay away from that for a
No,
minute
we
because
do, we do, we do. I
we're
don't believe in jinxing it or whatever. Like this could be the one to turn it around. If you believe in it, I
yeah, no,
believe
but
in it.
you
Put
know
it
what,
out
Rob?
there.
I've already got 6 picks this weekend myself. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite a
Yeah,
lot to
that's
put
true.
my name to. So I'll leave this one to you. And I like it. I do like it. I can't see many. It's just I just don't like Atleti. Sometimes they've let me down so much in the past. Like they're just one of those kind of teams that I always have caution with. But yeah, based on everything that we're looking at here, I mean, a draw isn't going to be the most surprising result in the world. But yeah, I think Atletico should get the job done. So they need to anyway. If they want to get themselves into a title race, they need to go on a run now. Otherwise, it's over before it started. So they will be desperate to win.
Okay, that's it for me in
Okay.
Spain.
Okay, so yeah, there's nothing for me in Spain. There's nothing really there that's floating my boat. So I'm going to move on, and I'm going to skip. Unless you have you got any value in Italy, Rob? Because I don't, and we can maybe skip Italy this week.
Yeah, me neither. I don't have anything in Italy for the value range.
Okay, so let. Oh no, actually, I tell a lie. I tell a lie. I tell a lie. I do have something in Italy. So quickly, let's just pop there. I do have one, and it's in the shape of Roma. And this is a twofold type of way of looking at this. I am back in Roma because I think outside of that one result that messed up the Big Gun Acca that weekend, they have actually been really solid, haven't they? Roma this season, they've won all their other games, and I'm fading Fiorentina this season. I've mentioned it in previous pods. I faded them at home to Napoli. If you remember, Napoli were better than even money to get the job done. They won really comfortably. I leaned towards Como away at Fiorentina. I stood away because I just didn't really have the confidence in Como. They did get the job done. And these are home matches of Fiorentina, who, they're normally good at home. And I'm just not seeing it this season. That's their two home games this season, Como and Napoli. They lost both. AS Roma have won both away matches, one of them being their derby away at Lazio, and they beat Pisa as well. They won 2-0 at home to Hellas Verona last week. They've been in top solid form, and I just don't like what I'm seeing from Fiorentina. And you've got the odds here. Let me just get the odds. So Roma away win, you are looking at 2.4. So I'm having it. I'm having it. So that's our quick visit to Serie A, but I am locking that in as Roma away win. Fiorentina are not the team they were, it seems. Let's go to the Bundesliga. And I have another value pick and another good. I get some really high odds at the moment on my value picks. I can't even remember the last time I went for one around 1.7, 1.8, which is what a lot of last season was. This is Wolfsburg. No, not a team that jumps out you when you're looking at your schedule for the weekend as a team that you want to back. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Wolfsburg are playing away at Augsburg. Now, if anyone looks at this and looks at Wolfsburg, you're going to look at what am I talking about? So they lost last week at home to Leipzig, 1-0. They lost the previous week away at Dortmund, 1-0. But me being the freak that I am, decided to go and have a look at the underlying stats of Wolfsburg's season. And I was quite surprised at what I saw. So did you know, Rob, that game against Leipzig last week, Wolfsburg had 7 big chances. They missed 7 big chances. They had an XG of over 3. That should not have been a 1-0 defeat. They absolutely battered Leipzig. And I went back further than that. The Dortmund away loss, which is no disgrace anyway, losing away at Dortmund. Dortmund have started the season off really well. That didn't deserve to be a loss either. They were very competitive in that match and would be very unlucky to be not getting away with at least a point in that match. So, and the other away match they played this season, they did win 3-1 away at Heidenheim. So I think Wolfsburg have been better than their results suggest. But when you look at Augsburg, they've lost 4 in a row, and they have been good value for all 4 losses. They lost to Heidenheim, who were crap. They got spanked in their last home match by Mainz, 4-1. Yeah, I'm going to go Wolfsburg here because I feel like there's something better there behind the scenes. And they are 2.5.
2.5, Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
I guess they have a Dutch coach. And it was the coach of Go Ahead Eagles last season who had that incredible cup run. And I'm almost sure Simonis is the coach. So, shout out.
Shout out for the Dutchies. I think you know everything about every Dutch person in Europe, it seems.
Nah, not really, not really. Definitely when you go to the lower leagues, not, but quite a lot. I think it's quite, yeah, it's quite common for Dutch players to go abroad. And when they played for in the Eredivisie, then most of them you will know, like because it's a big signing for a Dutch player to go abroad, being signed by a different team. So yeah, that's why we know.
Okay, yeah. Well, I personally think that you just all hunt in packs and you just like follow everyone's careers. And yeah, in fact, I've got a question that I need to ask you. Let me just finish off the picks that we've got, and then I want to go to the section of this podcast where we used to have a little bit of fun, but with different types of quizzes and that. But I was thinking like because there always seems to be some kind of talking point or question that I have for you. And yeah, maybe we can turn that section into a topic, a little bit of off topic in terms of betting, and actually talk about a couple of points that may come up during the week. And I've got a couple of questions for you today,
All right.
so we'll come to that in a moment. Before we do that, I have one more value pick across Europe. I think, are you done for value picks, Rob?
Yes.
Yes, you're done. I have one more. And that one more is Monaco. Monaco in Ligue 1 are playing at home to Nice. Now, Nice are generally speaking a decent team. But yeah, Monaco started off really quite nicely this season. They are 12 points from their 6 matches, and Nice haven't really got going yet. And Monaco, they played Man City actually, didn't they, last night? Got a 2-2 draw. I think
Yep.
Man City are a bit upset about that result, but it's a good result for Monaco nevertheless. But I was looking again, going through some of the results, and Monaco did lose last weekend, yeah, but they got a red card in the first half whilst it was 0-0. So you can't really count that, and I think that's why we're getting some decent odds here for a home win because they did lose their last match, but it was a red card. Nice drew at home last week to this new team, Paris FC. It was a 1-1 draw, and Paris did get a late equaliser, but they were actually really good value for that draw. They deserved a draw, if not a win. And they lost their other two. The only two away matches that Nice have played this season was a 4-1 spanking by Brest. And believe me, Brest are not the team they were a couple of years ago. And they lost 3-1 away at Le Havre as well. Whilst Monaco have got a 100% record at home, three games played, 3 wins, including a win against Strasbourg, who anyone listens knows I fancy them as half decent, and a draw at home to Man City last night. So I think Monaco are a decent team. They're playing at home against an out of form team, and they are 1.85.
Good shout. Good shout. I like
Yeah,
it.
you like that one?
Yeah, I like that one. And I aren't they both they played in Europe, both of them, right? Nice is playing tonight in
Yes, an extra
Turkey.
day's rest for Monaco as well.
Extra days of rest, 2 losses in their last three. Sounds like a good shout. Let's go, Monaco.
Let's go Monaco. So that ties up our value picks this week. What have we got here? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. That's 9 there. 9 value picks this week. So lots to chew on. That'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. Before we get to the Accas, Rob, like I said there, I just thought like a couple of topics, right? So I've got 2 topics. One of them is okay. So I heard on radio this week Martin O'Neill. Remember Martin O'Neill, the Irish manager,
Yeah.
Aston Villa, Leicester. So he was there talking really badly about XG. This is nonsense. Martin O'Neill is just a typical dinosaur manager, right? So he's talking about XG in a really negative way. Absolutely nonsense. Doesn't mean anything. Well, obviously it does mean something because it's being used more and more and more and more. What is your view, generally speaking, on XG and how do you use it?
Partially. I use it partially. I do like to look up as well how the XG was, and I can see you can see two kind of trends. So maybe a team gets a lot of XG because they're quite creative and they create a lot of chances. But then I also look at how are the strikers performing. Maybe they're just lacking goal scorers as well. So I do find it is a very interesting stat, and it really helps you as a bettor to see how the team is playing against another team, even though the scoreline doesn't say it all. The XG market does say who creates those chances. And then you have to think about like, yeah, is it because, yeah, as I just said, do they have that goal scorer, or maybe the goal scorer is coming back, or they get a new striker or whatever, and they do already have that great XG. Yeah, then it's probably going to change. And as well, as you heard the old saying about strikers, once they find the net, it's for them a lot easier to find the net more often. So maybe you can look into trends like that as well. What do you
Yeah,
think about it?
I think it's a big thing. I mean, I think clubs have been using it for quite a while to actually use in the transfer market as well. I'm sure it's all part of the Moneyball system as
Yeah,
well, and probably has been used by the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth for quite a while in terms of individual players that maybe don't have the top line statistics in goals and assists, but do have that potential based on their X, G's and A's, and have been going under the radar and maybe need to be in a different system to make it all click. And I think that they've used this for a while now to find these top talents that you've never heard of, and then they explode and they sell them for 100 million a year later. So I think it is getting used a lot. I understand that professional bettors are using it a lot in play as well, because it gives you a real sense of what's happening in the game. And I just think, you know what, I think the way I explain it basically has finished the argument in the pub with your mate after the game. Oh yeah, we deserve to win that. No, you didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I think it's very true to how a game plays out. If you watch a game and then look at the XG, it's not often that you're like, oh yeah, that's not really how I saw it. Obviously, the one thing that can skew the data is a penalty, because a penalty is, nearly one whole XG. And, some of the websites that I look at do non-XG, non-penalty XG. So I go by that more, because I think penalty is a bit misleading with what happened in the game. So, but yeah, I think it's really good, and there's a book out there, XG Philosophy, and yeah, I think it explains how it was created and what it's used for, and yeah, I personally think it's really important. I think it helps us, people like us that are looking, because we can go on results all we like, but that doesn't always tell you how a team's playing, And it's true what you say, like strikers can be the difference between, being able to get that XG over the line or not. But it still tells you how your team's play. If your team's not creating, the team that you want to bet on is just not creating any XG, then they're just not showing anything. And I'm starting to use it myself, which has been successful this year so far, by finding a team that I want to fade. Yeah, so my method is this. I try and find a team that I want to fade, see who they're playing against, and maybe they're not like a great team, mid-table, for example. Find that team, go and look at their results. Why are they mid-table? And see if their XG actually outperforms their results. And if they do, then there is actually a good reason to back them against the team that you want to fade on favourable odds, because their results don't stack up their performances, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, it just makes me laugh when you get some people like this. No, it's nonsensical. Yeah, well, so why is everybody in the game using it if it doesn't make sense? So anyway, the next topic, Rob, and this one involves, again, sorry to anyone out there that we talk a little bit more about Arsenal, Liverpool, and Holland, because that's basically who we are, right? I'm an Arsenal fan, you're a Liverpool fan, and you're from Holland, I'm from England. So I've got a question here about a Dutch player that plays for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think you might know where I'm going with this. I thought this guy was Arsenal's best player last season. And I think he's one of the most underrated players in the world right now. I think the secret is starting to get out of the bag that this guy is absolutely top drawer. But this season, people, like I say, people are starting to recognise it and talk about it, inside the game that are not connected to Arsenal. I've never heard you talk about him. Julian Timber, what is the view in Holland about this guy? Because he just blows my mind every week.
Oh, the opinion about him. Like if you think about the national team, it's Virgil van Dijk, first of all, center back. And then because we have Denzel Dumfries, who's playing for Inter on the right back. Um, and this guy, Denzel Dumfries, you won't believe his stats in the Dutch national team. I have to look it back to be sure about what the actual stats are, but I reckon it's like in the last 7 games he played, he has like 8 or 9 goal contributions, or goals or assists. And it's like Koeman can't get rid of him at the moment because when he plays in Holland, he has to play right back. To be honest, last time they did play Jurien Timber alongside Virgil van Dijk. So it's tough pickings in Holland. You have Virgil van Dijk, who's the captain and who always starts. Then you have Dumfries, who's probably going to play as right back because when he plays in Holland, he does perfectly. And then the other one is a mixture of Timber, Mickey van der Ven, who also goes left back sometimes. Then beforehand you had Nathan Ake as well, maybe center back, left back. But then you have Virgil van Dijk who has to play on the right side, and he doesn't want to play on the right side. He always wants to play on the left side as a right-footed player. And you have Jean-Paul van Hekke, who's also playing now and then. And then even after that you have Stefan de Vrij. So to be honest, the Dutch center backs you have a lot of them. Although we're starting to see it as well in Holland, and I have to look it back up, but I think he started last game alongside Virgil van Dijk. And we think very highly of him because if you're playing for Arsenal, you're playing in the Premier League week after week, tough opponents, and he's performing well. It's just that the defense of Holland was quite good, although the names are really good. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he goes for World Cup. I actually
No,
hope he does.
it's interesting hearing your perspective, being Dutch. But I think you just basically confirmed my point. I think he's underrated across the world. I watch every minute of every game he plays. This guy is a million times better than Dumfries. Sorry, but he is, and should be playing right back. He had every single top left winger locked in his pocket. We call him the straitjacket in our neck of the woods because there ain't a player that can get past him. Maybe he's lacking a little bit of the forward play of a Dumfries or a Hakimi, for example. But defensively, I ain't swapping him for absolutely nobody in the world. So anyway, let's see how that transpires, Rob. We do need to wrap this up. So let's go to the Accas. Big Gun Acca, 2 in a row. Can we make it 3? What have you got for us?
Okay, we're going bold this one because yeah, the odds were there were some matches that I really liked and I have to put them in, and so mix and match if you don't believe in him because it's gonna be a sevenfold for 9.5. It's more
Whoa,
student Akka range, but
whoa.
yeah,
Tell
yeah.
us.
Here we go. Inter Milan, PSV, Feyenoord, FC Twente, Bayern München, Barcelona, and Sporting. Sevenfold, 9.54.
Wow.
Yeah, like Bayern München and Barcelona is like Bayern München is in unbelievable form. Harry Kane is unbelievable
Yeah.
at the moment, and they're playing Eintracht, who's like they lost a 5-1 against Atletico. Before that, they had a 6-4 win against Gladbach. Like loads of goals in those matches for both of them. So maybe a lot of a goal fest could be there, but I just reckon Bayern München is different level. And for 1.4, it's quite rich. And same goes for Barcelona,
Okay.
1.44. So
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Acca.
Let's do it. Acca is not massively bigger than that. It's at 13.24. It is a six-fold, mostly in England. We've got in the Championship Coventry and Ipswich. We've got in League One Cardiff, in League Two Barnet, and then we have Napoli in Serie A and Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. That is a six-fold. 13.24. Let's try and find a winner there. Rob, that does bring us to the end of the pod. Have you got any more before I do a roundup?
No. Let's go for the roundup.
Nope. So let me round that up. So we get double. We have Newcastle to beat tacticless Big Ange Forest, and a Villa have they turned their form around now? So we're going to put them together for 2.6. Championship Borough. Is the train reaching the end? I'm not too sure, but I'm just going to keep going. One more time. Borough, 2.3 away at Portsmouth. We have Stoke, informed Stoke away at terrible Blackburn at the moment. 2.8 seems really in the Eredivisie. We have Fortuna Sittard at home against Volendam at 1.85. And we have newly reinstated Vitesse at 2.04 in the second division in Holland. Going across to La Liga, we have Atletico Madrid away at Celta Vigo, 1.8. Serie A, we have Roma against Fiorentina, who have lost everything at home so far, 2.4 for Roma. Wolfsburg away at Augsburg at 2.5. We have Monaco in League One at 1.85. And then we have the very big Big Gun Acca with Inter Milan, PSV, Feyenoord, FC Utrecht, Bayern, Barca and Sporting at a whopping 9.5. Rob, where can people find us?
You can find us if you search for the Betting Connection, and you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even on Threads and on Blue Sky. We mainly post on X, to be honest. And then have a look at our YouTube channel where we post our podcast. You can also listen to our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just type in the Betting Connection, find the white clover with the blue black background, and then leave a comment, a like. Definitely after those winning weeks, let us know what you're betting. We really like it. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Rob. Yes, look, at the end of the day, we're posting less on those social medias. We like to keep it to this podcast. This is where we're making the profit, the units. Tell your friends, guys. Tell your friends. We are doing this sensible, disciplined, with, the proof's in the pudding. We made a lot of units last season. We're up 15 units so far this season. So look, give us a follow. Just help us grow the numbers doing this. We want to post less, but we want to record more. So, we need your help. 15 units of profit. Big weekend ahead. Good luck, everybody. Have a good one. Ciao for now.
Happy bettings.